Welcome. You're joining us for Why 5% Succeed, the show where you discover how 5% of businesses really have it all. Great clients, fulfilling work, record compensation, and you can have that too. Bottom line, if you can see it, you can be it. We're going to share some hands-on tactics, tips, tools, and techniques that will further your success. I'm your host, Elaine Starling, and I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for Starling Media Services, a boutique marketing firm helping purpose-driven women entrepreneurs become legacy leaders. I have a huge passion for helping other people succeed, which is why I do this show every week, bringing you fabulous guests who really, really know their stuff. In fact, I'm really committed to making sure the world knows about you. You've got a gift. You've got huge skills that you've developed over years of study and practice. And you need to get those out in the world so the rest of us can benefit from who you are and what you're doing. Well, if you're struggling a little bit to figure out how to do that, you're in luck today. You've got the amazing Virginia Parsons joining us, and she's the founder of Hangout Marketing University. Hangout Marketing University provides beginner to advanced training and even certification in Hangout Marketing and Technology. She also teaches people how to do Hangout Show Production, how to create social influence, and how to monetize their Hangouts. Very important. Known as the Hangout Mentor, Virginia helps entrepreneurs shine as a go-to expert by using Hangouts on Air. Virginia, welcome.
Oh, it's so wonderful to be here, Elaine. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and I want to say hi to everyone who's joining us today. I appreciate your being here because we know your time's valuable, and so thank you for joining us today. It's just a great honor. Thanks, Elaine.
Absolutely. I want to jump right into it because there's a lot to talk about, and I know obviously you're a huge proponent of Hangouts. So could you tell us a little bit from your perspective what Hangouts can really do for your business?
Well, let's look at it this way, Elaine. What can't Hangouts do for your business? That's the first thing that I like to pay attention to, is because it's just the most incredible tool available today. I call it the hottest trend in marketing today to brand grow and get your business known out there. So what can't it do? Well, I think it's really only limited by your imagination. But you know what? Get your pens and papers out because I'm going to give you some ideas that I want you to really think about. Because if you think about it, you're going to end up realizing, I better get on the bandwagon and start using Hangouts on Air to grow my business so that I can get recognized as the go-to authority. So here's some of the things Hangouts can do for your business. How about increased authority, right, Elaine? You understand that when you get yourself out there, when you take the risk, maybe not be perfect, maybe expose yourself to the world, but you get recognized as an expert in your field. That's just so critical, isn't it? And then the increased authority that comes along with that is increased engagement. I love the fact that Hangouts provides the perfect platform to engage with people. And why would you want to engage with your audience? Well, because they're important. You value them. And so you want to get that engagement going, and I know of no better way to do that, Elaine, than using Hangouts on Air. Now, as a result, guess what? People start to follow you, and you end up with some loyal followers and raving fans, and guess what they're going to do? Let other people know about you. You shouldn't be the only one out there letting people know about you. The key is to develop these relationships, deepen them, and then allow them to help you expose your business and all that you can do. So now we're talking about recognition, social influence, building deeper relationships, and I love this part. I love this part because I know of no other vehicle to connect with people live as though you're in their living room with them or out for a cup of coffee or a drink or whatever it might be than using Hangouts on Air so that you can meet with people all around the world. As a result of Hangouts, I have friendships now in so many different countries that I never would have had without using this technology. And so that's the final piece of why should you be using this in your business? Well, come on, leverage Google. Google owns YouTube. The two are intricately related. When you create a Hangout on Air, I think most of you know, it automatically gets recorded and placed on the YouTube channel. These are the two largest search engines in the world. So you're leveraging Google, and the SEO value from Hangouts on Air and the videos that go up as a result on YouTube are just a way for more people to get to know about you. And that's why you need to be using Hangouts on Air in your business. And I'm sure I haven't covered everything, Elaine. What can you think of?
Boy, there's so much there. And I, like you, obviously, I really believe in Hangouts for many, many reasons. One of the first ones is you get the sight, sound, motion, all of it all in one. So it's actually a deeper connection. People feel like they know you because they've seen you, right? And they have a chance to interact with you. I love that with Google Hangouts, people can type in their comments. They can ask questions. And I'm very fortunate. I've got a Hangout producer who's behind the scenes, hidden from everybody, but he's keeping an eye on all the questions and comments that are coming in. And he's going to make sure that Virginia and I see the latest and greatest so we can answer your questions live. How cool is that? But even if you're watching this as a recording, you can still type in a question. Virginia and I will both be notified, and we'll respond back to your questions. What other technology lets you do that? What other technology gives you that level of access to experts? I mean, it's fabulous, right? Really helps build that engagement. And one of the things that Virginia does that is absolutely brilliant, we might do it if there are enough questions, Virginia does an after show where the viewers can actually come in the green room and have a conversation with the speaker and get some private one-on-one conversations going on. How cool is that? I mean, there aren't that many tools that let you do that, right, Virginia?
You're right, and the thing I like about that is for people who've not experienced Hangouts before and thinking about dabbling in it, if you come into an after show when the broadcast has been stopped, you don't have to feel so timid. You know what? We sort of guide you through it. You can have a little fun with it and say, hey, this really is a fun tool. It's a technology I can do. And as a result, I think it helps move people forward instead of, being held back by the technology. Listen, the technology can be a challenge at first, but look, if I can figure this out, most of you can too. I have no doubt about it. And the point is to move beyond the technology intimidating you, to move into a place of, being, unconsciously confident and competent in using it so that the technology works for you in the background without getting in the way. So yeah, I just think the after show is a great way for you to experience it firsthand.
Virginia, one of the things that I really love about Hangouts, every single business owner and entrepreneur I know is really busy. So if you do a Hangout, not only do you have video, you have audio for your podcast. You can transcribe it and turn it into blog posts and articles. You can repurpose the information in a lot of different ways, and I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I want to take a minute to ask you about your show up and shine process, because you've really broken this down for people so that they understand the series of activities to get their Hangout going and really make it effective. Could you review that with us?
I would love to, because it's really the whole point of Hangout Marketing University and why I started it. Because I felt that people were using the tool, great, that's the first step, get out there and use it. But were they learning and discovering all the ways you can use the tool so that you really can leverage yourself, which is just what you were talking about. So I created the 5 steps to shine, which are sort of the foundation of Hangout Marketing University. And I'll just review those for you, and then I can go into a little more detail afterwards. But the first step in shining to me is what I call being the success-spurt. Well, what's that? It's a mindset issue. It comes around feeling successful as the expert in your field. So you got to work through some of the issues that might evolve around deservability, or who am I to think I should be the one out there claiming I'm an expert? Well, in this particular training module, the whole point is to have a sense of success-spurt mastery. And so that's what I call the first step. Now, the second step is the technology. You can't ignore it, but I want you to go beyond just learning how to do a Hangout. I want you to come across as a professional. There's lots of people using Hangouts. Hooray! I'm thrilled that they're using them. But now let's move it to a level where you really do shine as the expert in your field. And that means coming across using the tool professionally. There's lots of problems with what people are doing with Hangouts that I don't think comes across very professionally. Sometimes it's a bandwidth issue, sometimes it's an audio issue, sometimes it's a camera issue, and sometimes it's a whole combination of things. But when you become professional and proficient at the technology, that gets out of the way and you are going to stand out again as an expert. The third step in the process is to become what I call a social influencer. And if you'll notice what's happening here, the first letters of each of these steps are going to be spelling out shine for you. And my whole point is I want you to shine. You have a right to shine. You need to shine because people are looking for what you offer. Elaine already talked about that. You've got an expertise, but the world needs to know about it, and it's not going to happen if you're the best kept secret. So the fourth step in it is to move from becoming a social influencer into actually developing notoriety. Now, this does not mean from a fame standpoint anything negative. It just means that when people hear your name, they associate you with a particular solution or a product that you provide or a problem that you solve. That's being the expert in your niche, and people think about you as the person to go to for the solution. So we have a lot of trainings that I do around developing notoriety in positive ways. And then the final step is expansion. Well, that's the E in shine. Now, expansion has to do with establishing leverage of everything you're doing. You know, we have all these assets. As you go through this process in the training with me, you develop a lot of what I call your Hangout assets. And just like Elaine was talking about, you take those assets and you learn how to repurpose them in multiple ways, and we'll get to that a little bit down the road. Go ahead, Elaine.
That's really wonderful. And I just want to pick up on what you just said, because it doesn't matter who you are or what you do for a living. It doesn't matter if you're retired or if you're a new graduate from high school. You have some information that everybody out there wants to know. And I'm going to give you an example right now. My husband and I just put solar in our house. And we worked with a contractor really closely. We did all the labor, and he helped us understand what we needed to do and what order. Well, he is such an expert at what he does that he just knows everything, right? And he kind of assumes that everybody else has the same level of understanding. He had tons of questions. We were really confused. We asked all kinds of stuff, and I kept a notebook with all of my notes. So as a consequence, I'm going to go back and turn that into a product. I'm turning it into an ebook. I could do a Hangout series if I wanted to. And I'm no expert, right? But it's actually an advantage because I've gone through the experience. Maybe you're dealing with a new baby and how to get your baby to sleep through the night. Maybe you're dealing with aging parents and how to help them at this stage of life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. You have valuable information that we want to know. And really, it would serve us if you'd be willing to step out and shine. Now, Victoria, you're the expert, you're the master, you know this stuff cold. And you also know how to leverage your Hangouts and really turn them into products and services. So could you talk a little bit about that and also some of your favorite tools that you use for that?
Absolutely. Let me bring another one up for you here. And this is talking about that expansion, the E part. You know, you've gone through all of this process. You've learned how to hang out like a pro. You've gained social influence. You've created a sense of notoriety, meaning you are known as the expert in that field. You've got all of these assets available to you. And that is really the fifth, what I call the fifth pillar of my program. And that is Hangout Monetization Mastery in the expansion area. So what she was just talking about, Elaine was talking about leveraging those assets. That is, to me, so powerful. Number one, you're leveraging Google, you're leveraging YouTube, and now you have assets to leverage. So these are strategies, just like she's talking about, that are monetization strategies that you can take advantage of. All right, so here's some other things I'm going to throw in here before we go into some actual products you can create, because I think it's important that you expand your horizons on all the ways that you can use Hangouts on air. It's not just to do a show like we're doing here. As a matter of fact, I think that that's maybe one of the lesser ways that you can go about establishing your own credibility and expertise. It's just one of many. So I like to talk about coaching. You know, Elaine, the way I got started with Hangouts and Airs because I have a 25-year experience and background in coaching. Lifestyle coaching and hypnotherapy is my background. The reason I embraced Hangouts on Air is because my mom became very ill a few years ago, and I wanted to be with her. So I closed my office down, but I still had people who wanted to work with me. I thought, how can I do this, be there for my mom, and still provide excellent service? And you know, as a hypnotherapist at that point, I needed to be able to see my clients. I couldn't just hear them because there's a lot of things that I look for, visual clues, in working with people that help me be a better assistant to them, be of greater service. So I fooled around with Skype. I did not like the technology, very unstable, and then I found Hangouts. Well, when I started using Hangouts for coaching, I knew that I really found something that it was very powerful. So think about that as a monetization strategy. Now you can coach one-on-one, and as a result have, command a good price for the work that you're doing because people love to have their hands held, right? So the one-on-one coaching is a great vehicle, but think also about expanding that into group coaching. Remember, you can do up to 10 people inside a Hangout, right? Mm-hmm. So you could really work with up to 9 people if it's just you and 9 others and do what I would call an elite coaching program and monetize that. Then you can take that program and turn it into an evergreen program, and now you've got a new product. So we're starting to talk about the products that you can create. But beyond that, you can also work with the globe. Unlimited people can watch, and they're going to pay a lower price because they're not going to get you hands-on, but they're going to be able to get the material. So that's another way of monetizing it. Let's think a little further, though. How about demonstrations? Maybe you have a product that you're representing. Even could be an affiliate program that you're representing, something that has to do with a software program. You could provide a demonstration. That's another way, and then link that to your affiliate link and end up with another way of monetizing. So let's go on to this a little bit further. One of the things I love is creating classes and courses using Hangouts on Air. Again, I think it's really a powerful way to get the word out. You can create the class live if you want, or you can just hang out with yourself and create the course using a Hangout on Air, get it recorded, and then put it into a course that you deliver. And I do a lot of this. I have a whole course called Hangout Course Creation Made Easy, and it's all about using Hangouts to create courses. How about the affiliate promotions? I already talked to you about that. Your ability to go out and share with other people products you're already using and loving, and therefore you want to recommend them to other people. Well, you certainly can recommend them and still make an affiliate commission because no matter what, the person buying it's going to pay the same price for the product, whether or not you're promoting it as an affiliate or not. So why not add that as another monetization strategy? How about product reviews? It's similar to demonstrating, but it's also just saying, here's a review of something I really support. Oh, by the way, if you go ahead and purchase this product through me, I'm going to also provide a bonus for you. A bonus could be another HOA, Hangout on Air asset that you own. Now, another one I love, Elaine, is masterminds. I do a mastermind every week on a Hangout. That is a great resource for working with people, running ideas by them, but, why not record it and grab some of the juicy tidbits out of that, turn it into a tip series, turn it into something that's going to inspire people, uplift them, and provide them with valuable content. So there's masterminds. Another one I love is open office hours. You can take a program that you're providing and then use Hangouts. Give people who are subscribed to your program open office hours where you open up a Hangout and those people can come into the Hangout at your open office hours time, get one-on-one coaching from you, and also make it a valuable, what I would call, upsell in a program. So people might take the standard program and then you have others who are going to pay a little bit more to be able to get some one-on-one time with you, get their questions answered in an open office hour agreement. And then finally, I love in this expansion module that I teach how to put this all together into a Hangout income funnel. So I want you to think about what are all the ways, all the possible ways that you can use this Hangout technology to drive your entire funnel, to drive your entire business. So you can see that the products that you can create, the ways of relating people that you can create are only limited by your mind, your imagination, and the possibilities. And sometimes, you know what, you got to go play with it. I really encourage you to play with the technology and see what else you could do with it. Elaine?
Oh man, so much information, so many ideas, and I love what you were saying about all of the different components that you can do, all the different ways you can leverage what you create through a Hangout and turn it into a paying product or service. And with the open office hours, another thing that I've done that's been really powerful is a Q&A session. So if people have been emailing questions, I can do a Hangout and I can provide some answers to the Q&A, the questions that I've received through email or other sources, and then also do some live Q&A at the same time. One of the things I talk to my clients about is I teach 3 things: mindset, message, and media. And when it comes to media, there are 3 different kinds that you want. You want owned media, earned media, and paid media, those 3. And what I love about Hangouts is they kind of encompass all 3. They really do. Because you obviously own it, it's your content, you're creating it, you're getting other people engaged and involved, but it's still your content. And earned, obviously, you're exchanging information with different people and cross-promoting different people. That's great exposure. And then on top of it, paid because you can turn it into products. So it's a triple win. Frankly, I think everybody needs to figure out how to use Hangouts in their own business because it's such a powerful tool. Now, I know you've got a ton of really cool little tricks up your sleeve. How about sharing a couple of the great tools that you use to turn things into products?
Absolutely. You know, there's lots of them, and I dug for a while to find some really good ones, and so now they're sort of like my go-to tool. I imagine that a lot of you have heard of Canva, C-A-N-V-A. If you haven't, you need to go check it out. It's a totally free image creation software. It's online, it's live online, that you can get all sorts of images from for either free or for very low cost, unlike some of the other ways that provide images that you can use that you have to pay a lot more for. So it's got a great image library and a great way to produce. I produce all my banners that way. I produce really almost everything that goes onto my website in the form of an image. I do there because I can do a lot of customizing with it. There's another tool that you pay for, but it's not very expensive. I don't have an affiliate link for it, but I really recommend it, and that's called Uzign, Y-O-U-Z-I-G-N. Now, Uzign, the thing I like about that, and I'm going to say to you, I'm not a Photoshop person. You get it? That's too techy for me. So since there's all these other great tools, I want to work with them. So Uzign, check it out, because that has a great way to, I developed my YouTube image for my banner there. You can easily take an image on Uzign and quickly crop it and create what we call a transparency with just the part of the image you want. It's easy, it's slick, and it looks professional. There's a lot of other things you can do with Uzign as well, and they're hooked into another one of my favorite places to go get images, and that is, if it's coming to me, not PicMonkey, although that's one of them. What's it called? I've told people about it numerous times, and now it's just leaving me. So let me find it for you quickly. Pixabay, that's it. Pixabay, P-I-X-A-B-A-Y. Wonderful, free, royalty-free images that you can use, and so I combine these. And Uzign has a link right to Pixabay, so you can find images there. Now, for taking your Hangouts and repurposing them, and that means maybe pulling out a quick tip. Like I'll do that with this Hangout. I'll pull some quick tips out. I'll take an excerpt of it. Maybe it'll be a minute or two in length, and it'll be one little quick tip. I do my editing with Camtasia. Now I know that there's other editing software for videos out there. That's just my go-to tool. And then for clipping images, so I can just grab something that I see and like, and of course, remember, make sure you're not violating copyright laws, but I use Jing, J-I-N-G, which is a free tool that you can also use to create, a couple-minute video clips as well. So those are some of my go-to tools. They certainly aren't all of them, but they're some of my favorites.
Boy, that is great. There's nothing like hearing from a master, because clearly you've figured out all these different little hints and tips and tools, because for anybody who's been working on doing a Hangout, it looks easy, and frankly it is kind of easy, but it really reminds me of something like Word. You learn how to use Word, and sure, you can type a letter, and you know how to print it out, but do you understand just all the things it can do for you? Because once you decide you're going to write a book, do you know how to automatically insert the table of contents and have it auto-update? Do you know how to use all the bells and whistles with indexing and all of the other things that Word will let you do? And you might not. So if you're using Hangouts, but you might not be using them to the depth that you could be, you're really leaving money on the table. You really are. They're so powerful, and there's so much that you can do to leverage Hangouts in your business, whatever your business is, even if you don't have your own business. If you work full-time and you're trying to figure out how could I make a little money on the side, what could I do that would really make a difference to the bottom line? Hangouts. No joke. Hangouts. So how long does it take, Virginia, to go through the training that you have, to develop a level of mastery? How much time should people expect to invest?
Well, that's going to vary for the individual because it's a self-guided process, because everyone has a different learning speed and also time available to do it. But my whole sense of it for most people is they need at least 6 months to focus on this. When they're doing my whole, what I call my master certification, which is actually where they become a coach, a certified coach in Hangout marketing, where they become a Hangout marketing certified master coach, that's a year-long process. I'm not going to, paint a picture that you can go out there and do this in 30, 60, or 90 days and that the world's going to recognize you as a go-to expert. Let's get real. But as you develop the relationships, as you build your connections, as you use this tool, and as you then create a whole group of assets, within 6 months, I think you're going to have a really good start on it, and within a year, you should definitely expect people are going to get to know you as the expert in your field.
Oh boy, so much wonderful information here. I have to ask you the toughest question I ever asked. Brace for it. So what's the question I should have asked that I didn't ask that you would like to answer?
That's a tough question.
I know! It stops everybody. They're like, ah.
I mean, I could go off for hours on Hangouts and all the different ways you can use them. So what's the toughest question? I think I've got to go back to the basics, which we've already emphasized. I think it needs to be re-emphasized. Have you started to think about what this tool can mean to your business? Are you willing to risk making mistakes, maybe feeling like you're silly in front of the camera, maybe feeling like you're not deserving of being out there and getting known as a go-to expert? Are you willing to what I call step out of your shadow and shine? And that's what you're going to see, when I go into this PowerPoint mode. Recognize that that image that I have there is just that. It is someone in the background willing to step out of their shadow, reach their arms up, and declare that I have a gift. I have an expertise, and I know that someone out there needs what I offer. And not just one person, lots of people. Believe me, if you've got an expertise, there is someone looking for the solutions you provide. So I guess that the question is more about you, and are you willing to step out of your shadow, take the risk to get on camera, and recognize that you have a gift to share with others.
Thank you so much. That was really well said, because I think that's the biggest thing that holds people back. They think they can't do it. And honestly, if you've ever used any software, if you've ever learned how to use any software, you can master Hangouts. It is not something that's so overwhelming that you can't figure this out. It takes a little practice. It takes a little bit of time to delve into it and set everything up and just do it a few times before you develop a comfort level. But anybody can learn how to do Hangouts. And I highly recommend that you work with an expert like Virginia, because she can speed you through the process. It really helps when you've got somebody that you can hold their hand, and if you've got a question or you're trying to do a Hangout and something happens, there's a glitch, being able to be a part of a community that's supportive and can help you through those lumps and bumps that happen along the way, it's really important. You know, I always use the comparison between a canoe and a kayak. If you've ever been in either one of those, a canoe, it's great fun. It's beautiful. You're out on the water, and it's lovely. But they're kind of tippy. I don't know about you, but I have to be really careful with that paddle, because if you angle it a little wrong or you pull a little bit the wrong way, over you go. You're in the drink. With a kayak, it's different. Your center of gravity is lower. Your knees are wedged into the side, so it's almost like it's an extension of your body. So as the water comes up, as whatever happens, you just wiggle a little bit, and you can use your paddles to brace or pull you through the water. You have so much more flexibility and versatility. And when you're learning a new tool, you feel like a canoe. You feel really tippy. You feel a little unsure. But when you work with somebody like Virginia, all of a sudden you're a kayak. You've got more flexibility. You've got more versatility. And it doesn't matter what happens. It's a learning opportunity, and you move through it that much faster. Now, I don't know if anybody's had any questions for us. I haven't seen anything pop up in the chat room. And I know that we are looking closely to see if anybody has any questions or comments that they'd like to share. But I just have to say, Virginia, wow, blew me away.
Thanks, Elaine. I loved being here, and I want you to know I switched my background for you, because this is part of having fun with Hangouts as well. And at hangoutmentor.com, you can get a fast start program. So if you want to learn how to do Hangouts, the basics fast, that's a great place to go. But if you want to learn a little bit about how to move into promoting Hangouts, I have a checklist for you, totally free. You can go to hangoutmarketingu.com and pick up my Hangout promotion checklist strategies. These are just strategies on how to get out there and let people know what you're doing using Hangouts on air. So please take advantage of those, and if you have questions, of course, leave them here in the comments section. I'll be sure to answer them, and Elaine, I know, has great knowledge in this field as well. So I want to thank you, Elaine, for having me on the show. It's been great fun to share my passion with everyone. And mainly for me, I just hope you start picking up this tool and using it in your own business.
Thank you, Virginia, for being here, and thank you, all of our viewers, for being a part of the show, too. Just being here, feeling you on the other end, and trust me, we do. We appreciate your support, your encouragement, and your participation. I'll see you next week on Why 5% Succeed. Bye-bye.